light. For the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. And find out what pleases the Lord. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose it. For it is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in the secret. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible. For it is light that makes everything visible. That is why it is said, wake up, O sleep, and rise from the dead, etc., etc. Now, one last verse. Acts chapter 13. Just back up a few. Acts chapter 13, verse 47. It says this. Acts chapter 13, verse 47, it says this. For this is what the Lord has commanded us. I have made you a what? A light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the ends of the earth. So that's light. Now, I want to go back, and I want you to go to 2 Corinthians. I want you to go to chapter 4. We're going to finish here. The idea is for light and faith to work together. The idea is for those two things to work consecutively. Now watch this. Chapter 4, it says this. Therefore, since through God's mercy we have this ministry, don't lose heart. We've renounced secret and shameful ways. We do not use deception, nor do we distort the word of God. On the contrary, by setting forth the truth plainly, we commend ourselves to every man's conscience. Now look at verse 3. And if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing. The God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelievers, so that they cannot see what? The light of the gospel and the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. What that means is this. Satan is blind. He's veiled the light. You understand that? His whole idea is to keep it to where people can't see the light. In fact, here's what Satan has done. He's made it to where as long as we stay in our churches, and as long as we stay in our cliques of Christian friends, as long as we just stay in those Christian places, okay, he don't care. We can meet in here all day. He hates the prayers. But we can meet in here all day long. He doesn't care. He'll keep people from even knowing this is here. When they start to get down to this intersection right here, he'll cause something to make them look to the right. He'll do anything he can to make everything that's happening here veiled. That's what it says right there. It says, the God of the sake. His whole goal is to make it to where people just don't even hardly notice the light. And if you just keep your light to yourself, okay, then he's fine with it. Did you know that there are countries, including Canada, there are countries right now that have created these laws that make it illegal to proselytize? That means that you can have your church, you can have your belief, but don't you dare try to tell somebody else about your belief and convert them to your belief. You can't do it. It's illegal. There are people in this nation bringing forth legislation as we speak called anti-proselytization laws, to where you can believe whatever you want. Great. But don't you dare try to go across the street and convert your neighbors to Christianity. Don't you do it. It'll be a crime. Satan wanted it to be a crime from day one. And so here's how it works, guys. As long as you stay where you're at, they can't see it. They can't see it. So how are they ever going to see it? God's got a plan. Verse 5, for we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ is Lord, and ourselves as your servants for Jesus' sake. For God said, let light shine out of darkness, made this light, his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. So who has the light? We do. Verse 7, we have this treasure, we looked at this before, in jars of clay, to show that this all surpassing power is from God and not from us. So here's the plan. The plan is this. They can't see the light. They can't see it. Media has them so blinded. And media says you don't need God to solve your problems. Watch any show you want to watch on TV. On every single show you watch, you will see some kind of major problem that occurs about 10 minutes into the show. Every show is designed this way, to create conflict and a problem. What are we going to do? And every single problem is worked out with human understanding, with knowledge, with just basic, those kinds of things. Never, ever, ever will you see God get a part of any solution on television. Almost never. Almost never will you see God being any part of the solution. I don't care what kind of show you want to watch. I don't care if it's a kid's show, an adult show. I don't care what you want to watch. That's how it's designed. Media is designed to keep people from thinking they even need to consider God. You understand that? The plan is that God said, I will put my light in you. The plan is then for us to leave these safe places called the churches, our friendships, our youth groups, all those kinds of things, and to take that light into dark places. That's the plan. That's God's plan. You want to have a dream for God? God's already got a plan. Doesn't need your dream, doesn't need your plan. He's got a plan. He just needs you to take your light where they are. Now, let's keep reading. Here's what faith does. We are hard-pressed on every side. That is the situation. That is the circumstance. That's what you see with your physical life. You just see hard-pressed. Maybe it's struggling to find a job. Maybe it's having enough finances. Maybe it's in friendships. It can be any number of things. But you are struggling. You're hard-pressed on every side. That's what you see with your physical eyes. But in the spirit realm, you're not crushed. You may be perplexed in the physical, but in the spirit, you're not in despair. You are persecuted, but you're not abandoned. You're struck down, but you're not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that his life may be revealed in our mortal body. So then death is at work with us, but life is at work in you. Now, yesterday, I told you that my father-in-law passed away. Now, with physical eyes, we spent about an hour with her dad after he had gone. With physical eyes, you just see flesh with no life in it. You see a chest that no longer moves up and down and breathes. You see a mouth that no longer says words, a face that no longer holds expressions. You see that? That's what you would see with your physical eyes. But in reality, but what's true, see, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that aren't seen. In reality, he's not there. He's with God. In reality, he's in this place that's amazing. Her dad was an amazing person. Her dad, basically, he's the kind of guy that, no necessarily formal education, no college degrees to speak of or anything like that. So he would go to a church, the church would have all their programs, the church would have all these things set up, and then everything, it's all figured out, it's all worked out. And so there's not a whole lot of room for guys like him. That's what he thought. He said, he goes, what can I do? He says, I want to take my light where it's darkness. See, the church seems to have all these things figured out. Well, where's the church not going? And so they said, we got all these kids that can't get to church. And so you know what he did when in his 30s or 40s? He said, he goes, what if I drive a bus and I go pick these kids up? Well, nobody wants to do that, Bill. Church doesn't start till 10. You'd have to get here at 7:30. You'd have to, we get a bus. Somebody gave us a bus. We just never used it. We used it for trips and stuff like that. I said, what if you'd have to get here at 7:30. You'd have to gas the bus. You'd have to wash the bus. You'd have to get the bus warmed up. And then they live all over everywhere, Bill. You'd have to go all the way this side of town, that side of town, that side of town, that side of town. And Bill said, well, then tell me, if I don't go pick them up, how will they know about Jesus? Well, no, we can't be expected to do everything. so he would get up every Sunday morning. In fact, he would get up every Sunday morning and he'd go on his bus route. But he said, you know what, this will even work better if I call all these families on Saturday and let them know I'm coming. And the ones that don't have phones, I'll just go knock on the door and say, hey, just let you know, I'll be by tomorrow morning, about 9 o'clock, with a bus. Take your kids to church, and I'll bring them home. And then, he had a revolutionary thought. His kids started coming by the dozens. He said, you know what? They're on this bus a long time. What if we did something on the bus? And so, he'd take his kids, or whoever he could get, he called them bus captains. And he'd put them on this bus. These kids would get on this bus. So they just didn't just go sit down and wait to get somewhere. They felt the love of Christ the second they walked on that bus. They'd sing songs about Jesus. They'd learn stories about Jesus. They'd get up, they'd get Jesus before they ever got to church. And that's what he would do. Week after week after week after week after year after year after year. He'd know the bus. 2 buses, 3 buses, whatever they needed. And it was a part of this massive program. This program is now in place in several churches throughout America. This bus program. It's amazing. Then he got older. He went to a new church over here in Anaheim, California. It's called Crescent Avenue Baptist Church, right over here. And he was there, he got there, and they already had stuff for kids. They already had those kinds of things figured out. And they said, so we got an animal built, just show up, give your offering, be a good member of the church here. There's things you can help out with. If you have a background in fixing things, you can come fix things. He goes, well, the garbage disposal doesn't need to know Jesus. And I can mow the lawn, but there's not any grass that's ever going to need the light. And he says, well, what are we not doing? Where are we not taking the light? And he says, I know a place where there's no light. He says, who's going to the convalescent homes? He goes, Lord, everywhere I go, I see a convalescent home. There must be 50, 60 people in every one of them. He found out, no, it's not 50, 60, there's over 100 in every one of them. He goes, well, who's taking the light to them? Well, Bill, we can't be expected to do everything. Have you been in there? It smells. And some of them, they're just babbling, and some are just staring at ceilings, and some of them are drooling. And he goes, we don't even know if they're really hearing us. He goes, but what if they do? No, we can't be expected to go everywhere and do everything. We're just humans. He goes, well, who is going? Yeah. So he said, okay, well, I'll go. And so he began to take his life into a convalescent home. And he goes, I can't preach. He goes, but I know 3 songs on guitar. And so he would go to these convalescent, and so he went to preach. He goes, I just need you to do one thing for me, just one thing. He goes, well, what is it, Bill? He said, can we just tape record your messages? He goes, well, yeah, that's not that big a deal. And so what he would do is he would go to church, and he would have somebody, he would stand at the back of the room with that video thing, and he'd take the message. And then that afternoon, or all week long, it went from 1 convalescent home to 2 convalescent homes, 2 convalescent homes to 3. I think up until he was about 78 years old, he was doing sometimes 9 and 10 or 11 convalescent homes a week. He goes to the convalescent home all by himself. He wheels those people into the big activity room, gets them in there, lines them all up. Sometimes 30 or 40 of them would be in this room. And then he would get his guitar out. He'd play the 3 or 4 songs that he knows. He'd put that tape in, stand back while they watched the message. When the message ended, he would say, here's the plan of salvation. Would any of you like to become a Christian? And every single time, hands would go up.